Welcome to our pre-meeting, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the hands of our capable city clerk, Ms. Lisa Carroll.
Good morning. This is the pre-meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, November 5th. We have approval of minutes of October the 29th.
Any issues, anyone? Okay.
Appeals, we have requests for waive of the noise ordinance on November the 9th in Cathedral Square from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m. November 9th on South Georgia Avenue from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. On North Reed Avenue, November 15th from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. In Mardi Gras Park, November 23rd from 4:30 to 7:30. Cathedral Square on December 21st from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m.
Any issue, Councilman Carroll? Okay. All right, Madam Clerk.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Nina Dortch would like to invite the council to the annual Name That Tune for Opportunities Day school tour. Sabrina Mass regarding abuse of power and addressing comments about threatening the council. Apostle Valenia Green, abuse and neglect towards the poor, disabled, and homeless. Ordinances 41054, 55055, and 57056. Reverend Sean Littles and Reverend Ray Bourne also would like to address the council regarding homeless issue. Ordinances 41054, 55055, 57056. Ordinance is held over. 41054, ordinance to amend section 41.5, loitering in parks and playgrounds of the Code of the City of Mobile, Alabama.
Vice President.
On these, you all know that we have a Public Safety Committee meeting coming up on the 19th. And in the meantime, our council attorney has been working with the administration on some amended language. I think you all got the email from Paul last week. So hopefully by the time we get to the committee meeting, things will be pretty much ready for us to discuss and hopefully come to some sort of resolution about, so that we can vote on it the next week, which would be the meeting after the 19th. Haven't seen what the amended language is yet, but I'm sure we'll be getting that shortly.
So just hold these over.
Yeah, they need to be held over to Lisa. What would be the meeting after the 19th?
26.
26th.
The 26th.
6, okay.
So we're laying all three over until the 26th.
Yeah, all
Yes.
3. Mhm.
CIP resolutions held over. 01-1031, authorized agreement with Forrest Daniel and Associates for Fire Station number 19 design.
Mr. President,
Ms. Reynolds.
on the fire station design, Nick, if you could help me on this. In last week's discussion, we talked about possible opportunities to take existing plans from recent rebuilt fire stations and maybe just modifying them in the way that's necessary to accommodate the site. Is this going to, say, redesign an entire new fire station with this current contract? Or is there flexibility within the contract to allow us to do a modification to current plans?
Oh, sorry, I thought red was off. Yeah, I think there's flexibility to do whatever we need to do. It is to design a new one. From what I understand, there's been some looks at some other fire departments that were maybe built a little bit more cost effectively. So there's a goal to do that. There is a goal to look at some of the different designs. Right now, I think they're separate bays, with a center middle for the trucks. Certainly want to talk with Rob and the fire department and get what services, what meets their needs entirely, but also do something as cost effectively as it can. Yesterday, I had 4 of the different designs pulled. I've looked at them. While they're all similar, they all are different. I mean, even the older fire stations, that when you look at some of those and they look like they're the same, they are actually all different.
Okay. As far as time goes to try to get this fire station built sooner rather than later, would it be your goal to expedite this as quickly as possible
Oh, absolutely.
to get it
Yes.
done.
Mhm.
Put
Absolutely.
it at the top of the pile.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nick.
Resolutions held over. 01-1032, authorize agreement with Hughes 360 Services to provide storm drainage ditch cleaning services. 01-1033, authorize agreement with Hughes 360 Services for storm drainage ditch services on Wilkins Road. 01-1034, authorize construction services agreement with White Spunner Construction. 08-1035, approve purchase order to Quick Buildings for portable building for Pine Hill Recycling Center. 08-1035, approve purchase order. 1036, approve purchase order to SHI International for iPad Pro tablets for Build Mobile. 08-1037, approve purchase order to SHI International for renewal of Adobe Enterprise software. 08-1038, approve purchase order to University of South Alabama for fall semester tuition, EMT, and paramedic classes. 21-1039, authorized contract with Warm Air Conditioning for HVAC maintenance and repairs at various city facilities. 21-1040, authorized contract with Osprey Initiative for citywide stormwater litter collection and analysis service. 47-1042, consider assenting to the vacation of an alley adjacent to property located at 1001-1003 Oak Street. 47-1043, consider a vacation fee as a condition of the vacation of an alley adjacent to 1001-1003 Oak Street. 50-1044, determine whether the downtown business improvement district should be continued, modified, or terminated.
Mr. President,
Mr. Chair.
last Tuesday, there was a bunch of concern with the some of the major churches that were major property holders downtown with the assessment. Since then, I've had the opportunity to meet with all the churches and their attorneys, and we have some language of compromise to this, which I submitted to the clerk Thursday, hoping that it would all get out to you guys before now. But everybody is in agreement of that language and in agreement of assessments that are made to everyone, including the nonprofits downtown. If you'd like to go through the detail, I'd ask either our attorney or Fred Renfrey to come to the podium also while our attorney goes through this, and we'll kind of tell the council members that haven't seen this what the agreement is and what the language is made by all attorneys.
I'm a copy of it. I haven't read it to see what it says.
Lana, is it in the packet?
No, I'll send it.
If you would, send it to everybody. Paul, Fred, whichever one wants to go first.
Well, I'll just start. Thank you. So there was a meeting and there was discussions. Originally, there was discussions about whether or not the bid could exempt nonprofit, including churches. And we went through that, and you'd have to go up to the state legislature to exempt them. But the director, the board of directors for the bid, had the authority and the power to set the methodology for the assessments. And so that's the way they went at this, is changing up how the assessment for all nonprofits are going to be. And I think Fred can go over that, but the long and the short of it is they've capped it at, I think, $3,500. So that would be the most that any nonprofit would have to pay. Now, that's in the bid plan. The original bid plan does not have this. What can be done is the ordinance allows the council to either approve as is, modify, or terminate the bid. And so this would be in the form of a modification of the existing bid plan. And I'll let Fred go through the what the assessment methodology would be.
So thank you. Good morning. First, I just share that the nonprofit community from the last 5 years is eligible for a 50% nonprofit exemption based on market rate assessments. And this was a compromise agreed to 20 years ago. So in the spirit of compromise, the bids recommended a new nonprofit assessment methodology that Councilman Carroll referenced. And it'll allow us to provide service, but also is a compromise that we can all live with. It is a 4-tiered IRS-like band, similar to our market rate assessment, but it stops valuing property over $3.5 million. So that, as reference, caps the assessment methodology for larger nonprofit buildings, i.e. houses of worship, and some other large properties like that. And if you have real detailed questions, I can share the assessment methodology. I think if the clerk's office is or has or will share that, and I'm happy to either answer them today or after the meeting.
Council. Carol.
Well, first, Fred, let me tell you all you guys, thank you. Sometimes with 4 lawyers in the room, it's kind of hard to come to an agreement on anything, especially when some want to make sure that or some individuals want to make sure that the bid gets every dime possible. And, I think it's very prudent to realize here that the alliance bid was willing to work with everybody downtown to make sure that that services continued, and they continued at a level that are high and keep downtown the way they are, but also continue in the method which everybody was contributing to the value of the service. So now no one's exempt, and everybody's contributing at a level which it's attainable for them in numbers that they can reach. A lot of churches have dwindling population and dwindling ties, which we don't pay attention to. At the same time, with the increased value of property taxes hurts some people. Again, a lot of businesses are revenue generating opportunities where there are a lot of non-revenue generating opportunities or businesses downtown or nonprofits that don't generate the revenue that matches the assessment. So this in itself is a pure way of saying or seeing our bid alliance actually do its job to maintain the health of downtown and the services provided, but also maintain the resources they're doing, and at the same time give back to those that are actually moving downtown. So I'm going to ask you all, if you would, please support the amendment and let's pass this today and get it moved forward.
President,
Mr. Reynolds.
it's not my intention just to arbitrarily hold things up or whatever, but I can't vote not knowing what I'm voting on. So, I'll do my very best to try to read this amendment and understand its implications, and, reach out to the people that say were speaking down here last week and try to understand where they truly are on the issue. But I have not read this. It may be best just to hold it over 1 week so that we can all, I don't know if any of y'all have seen it. I haven't seen it. I mean, I'd like to see it before I vote on it.
Mr. Days.
Well, I want to thank and compliment Mr. Carroll for working this out. I know he spent a lot of time with it, but my understanding from listening to everybody is that the churches and the bid are agreeable to this, and they were all represented by council. So, again, I think it's a good compromise. I'm ready to move forward with it.
Have you read it?
But I've heard from people I trust.
Josh, anything? Welcome, Corey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with Joe, from the standpoint that I think we was trying to figure out how we can get this done. I commend Councilman Carroll, our lawyers, definitely looked at it. We can look at it before, we can get this information before council meeting. We can look over it and we can move forward.
Vice President.
I have to agree with Joel and Corey and William. I think this is a good compromise. I really appreciate everyone coming to the table to try to work this out so that the bid can continue doing its work, but at the same time, we are not forcing some of our houses of worship, maybe even out of business of doing God's work because they can't afford to pay these taxes or fees rather. So I think all in all, this was a good compromise, and I really appreciate everybody for working together to make this happen.
All right. All right, thank you, Mr. Fred. Madam Clerk.
Consent resolutions being introduced, 03-1045, concur in the reappointment of Judge Carveen Adams, Charles Story, and the reappointment of Beth Hanks to the Mobile County Board of Human Resources. 58-1046, assess cost for removal of weeds, Weedling Group 1659. 60-1047, approve of water special bonus to the Municipal Archives Employee of the Month. Resolutions being introduced, 08-1048, approve item award bid for diesel fuel. 08-1049, approve item award bid for unleaded and non-ethanol gasoline fuels. 08-1050, approve purchase order to ONSINT software provider for subscription renewal of open source intelligence software, $69,300. 08-1051, approve purchase order to Sunbelt Fire for breathing apparatuses, $62,304. 08-1052, approve purchase order to Trailient Holdings for annual subscription for employee standards of conduct online training services, $25,520. 08-1053, approve purchase order to Tyler Technologies for implementation and subscription of permitting and licensing software, $17,387. 08-1054, approve purchase order to Wilkins Miller for fiscal year 2024 pension fund audit services, $16,000. 21-1055, authorized contract with ProTech Video for deployment and management of technology training and consulting services for Gulf Coast Technology Center, $625,000.
Mr. President.
Mr. Penn.
Director Lasky, can you give us an update about this particular
Yeah, this is the annual contract with respect to Project Shield. As you know, we have kind of a cooperative agreement with a lot of the other entities and businesses in this community to gather all their video cameras into one place, and this performs that function. So this is both public and private cameras.
So we still just kind of getting the public opportunity. They still can connect their cameras, like they can reach out from a residentials. They can connect their cameras if they want to. Is this that program?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And businesses as well. right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, what is the process? Because I know we have some people still request that. Is it a process for them to do that?
Yeah, if they contact me, if they contact me, I can get them, put them in the process and get them included.
Okay.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk.
21-1056, authorized contract with South Alabama Regional Planning Commission for Parks and Recreation Department. 21-1057, authorized contract at 21-1057 and 1058 are authorizing contracts with Hughes 360 Services for storm drainage ditch cleaning services, Langham Park and Dolphin Street to Audubon Place. $450,000 and $230,000.
Madam Vice President.
Yeah, on the one for near Langen Park, 1057, where exactly near Langen Park is that? It's the storm drain ditch cleaning near, yeah, it just says near Langen Park. Oh, okay. Okay.
Madam Clerk.
01-1061, authorized agreement with Lucidia Technologies for museum collection management software, $26,790. Call for public hearings, 41-1059, call for public hearing to consider rezoning property located at 2660 Old Shell Road from R1 and B2 to B2, scheduled December 10th. 41-1060, call for public hearing to consider rezoning property located at 674 Western Drive from B1 to B3, scheduled December 10th. Announcements.
Council, Mr. Days.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a request to make of the city council. and that is I would like to add add a resolution to the agenda today. Okay, never mind. I'll just add it next week. We'll put it on next week. Thank you.
Any other council members? Administration?
Hey, Mr. President, I wanted to know your choice on whether you wanted to go into executive session now and between now and the 10:30 or wait until after the 10:30.
We can go ahead and do it now.
Sure. So, Mr. President, my name is Ricardo Woods. I'm city attorney and I'm a licensed attorney in the state of Alabama. I'm asking the council to go into executive session to discuss both pending and anticipated litigation. I'd ask that you all conduct a roll call vote and reconvene at the 10:30 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moving second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
President Small,
Yes.
Vice President Gregory,
Yes.
Councilmember Penn,
Yes.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yes.
Councilmember Reynolds,
Yes.
Councilmember Daves,
Yes.
Councilmember Woods.
Yes.
Okay, we see you all downstairs at 10:30.